everybody, welcome back to another video. Today I have some more sobriety content for you guys. This has been highly requested, so here we are. Today we are talking about how to socialize while sober, or just socializing sober in general. So before I get into it, I would love it if you would stay and subscribe to my channel. It really helps me out. It really helps my videos get sent out into the YouTube universe so that more people can see them and we can grow our family into something bigger. So please subscribe if you haven't already. It's super easy, it's free. Just click the red subscribe button below. I would love to have you. So with that being said, let's get right into socializing sober. As a lot of you know, if you've been here before, I have been sober since March 12th, 2018. So I am coming up on 5 years really soon. I will start out by saying that I definitely do not socialize anywhere near the way that I used to. I don't socialize very much at all anymore, if I'm honest. I don't mind that. I actually prefer it that way now that I'm sober and clear-headed. It's just not the same anymore. When you're sober and clear-headed, being out and around a bunch of drunk people is like, it can go one of two ways. One, it's either like super stressful and annoying and obnoxious and it's just not fun anymore. Or I'm at the point now in my sobriety, I have been sober for enough time that I feel really confident in my sobriety, so I'm okay going out and being around people who are drinking. And to be honest with you, a lot of times it's super entertaining. Seeing people sloppy and kind of making a fool of themselves is kind of entertaining. It's just a good little reminder for me why I chose sobriety and why I continue to choose sobriety every single day. It just immediately takes me back to me making a fool of myself constantly. Anytime I went out, anytime I was drinking, I was just a fool. And seeing other people in that state, it's a nice little reminder why I choose sobriety. I do have to say though, if you don't have a lot of sobriety time under your belt, or if you don't feel really solid and confident with where you are in your sobriety, I definitely don't suggest being in those types of situations. If you can avoid being in a social situation where there's a lot of heavy drinking going on, try to avoid it, because you are in a really vulnerable state and one thought can kind of shift you into spiraling and ending up back to where you were before, and that's the last thing we want. If I'm ever in a situation where I feel like my mind starts racing and I'm thinking thoughts that can only lead me to even consider drinking again, I need to remove myself from that situation. It's just not worth it. There is no social situation that is worth risking all the work I put in to getting to almost 5 years sober. So again, if you haven't been sober for very long, or if you're not super confident yet in where you're at with your sobriety, I suggest just trying to avoid a lot of social situations. I actually hate how normal it is to drink in any social situation. It's like you're having a wedding, of course there's gonna be drinking at a wedding. But it's like, even there, I'm like, of course there's gonna be drinking. Like, it's crazy how normalized it is. A first birthday party for someone's kid, and like a lot of the adults are drinking. A bridal shower, a baby shower, a birthday party, a random Tuesday afternoon hanging out with friends. Like, a lot of people use any social situation as an excuse to drink, and it's crazy how normal it is. As a recovering alcoholic myself, it can be really hard to socialize in general because it seems like the majority of people, like, that's what they want to do. So I guess in general, that's why I don't do a ton of socializing. The past 4.5 years, I've been doing a really good job of focusing on myself and my family, my husband, my kids. I have obviously been in some social settings. I've gone to a wedding, I've gone to some random events over the past couple years, and I have obviously been in situations where there's been drinking. It definitely helps to have somebody who's also sober. My husband doesn't drink drink. My sister also doesn't drink, so if I'm ever in social situations, I kind of just like stick with them, and that really helps. It helps all of us. So if you have that option to be in a social setting where you know there's someone else who's not drinking, try and stick with them. It makes you feel a little bit more comfortable. If you don't know somebody who's not gonna be drinking, one tip that's kind of also helped me is to constantly have a non-alcoholic beverage in my hand. Like always have a water in my hand, always have a soda in my hand, something in my hand. So I'm always sipping on something, so you kind of have that same feeling, like you don't feel so like removed from everybody else. Like when I first got sober, I constantly was drinking like sparkling water. Oh my gosh, I don't know how many cans of sparkling water I went through a day, just because like having that drink in my hand kind of filled that void until I got to a place where I didn't feel like I really needed that anymore. If you're at a party or a social event, that's definitely a good tip that'll help. If people don't know that you don't drink, or people don't know that you're trying to quit drinking, or whatever the situation is, if you have a water in your hand, or if you have a drink already in your hand, a non-alcoholic drink in your hand, it'll lessen the amount of times that people will ask you if you want to drink, because I know that that can be kind of awkward too, like take a shot, have a beer, whatever. If you have something in your hand, someone's less likely to ask you that. They probably still will if they don't know you're not drinking, and that sucks. I can make another video on how to tell people you're not drinking, but I do want to say, when it comes to socializing sober, I've noticed with myself, I don't know if this is just a me thing or if this has happened to anybody else, but I've noticed that the less I socialize, like if I go long periods of time without socializing with anyone besides family, eventually I do find myself in a social situation, I get super anxious. Crazy social anxiety where my body like shuts down, I get hot, I get sweaty, my lips start to quiver and start to shake. That is so frustrating, because sometimes it just feels like it's for no reason at all, because I feel like I'm a pretty confident person. I don't feel like I get nervous talking to people, or like I don't feel like I'm nervous in social situations. I just get this like overwhelming anxiety that I can't control for what feels like no reason at all. But what I'm getting at is that the less I socialize, the more likely that's to happen. So I think it is important to socialize some. Like I think if you're just a complete hermit and never talk to anybody, like never socialize at all, at least for me, it makes my social anxiety much worse. Even when I'm just out and about running errands or whatever it may be, going out of my way to like start a conversation with the cashier, just kind of keeping that spark alive when it comes to socializing. Otherwise, at least for me, like I said, my anxiety will act up. I don't know if any of you have ever experienced that, but if you have, just try to consistently socialize, even if it's just little things, like I said, because you don't want to get so anxious to the point where you don't want to socialize at all, and then you just become a hermit, and then that can lead to other issues too. Like that can lead to not feeling good about yourself, not feeling confident. Like it can just spiral. And I really do feel like human relationships and interactions are such an important part of life. And so that's something that I'm really working on, is to make sure I keep kind of making connections and just socializing in general. So I think that's pretty much everything I wanted to touch on when it comes to socializing sober. Like I said in the beginning, if you don't have a lot of sobriety time, or if you aren't feeling super confident in where you are at with your sobriety, try not to put yourself in excessive amounts of social situations where there's gonna be heavy drinking. It's just, you're in a really vulnerable state, and you're kind of just like playing with fire at that point. So try to keep that to a minimum, especially in the beginning. But there comes a point in time, I feel like for most people in your sobriety, where you start to feel more confident in yourself, and you're able to go to those types of events and feel really confident going in, and feel when you walk out of those situations and you're still sober, that is such a good feeling. Like it is like another win, another win. Like every social situation that you walk out of sober, it's like, yes, I did it again. The more you do that, the easier it becomes. And of course, sobriety is not like, it's not linear. Like there's gonna be ups and downs. If you go 5 years and you feel really confident, it's, you know, it's been pretty smooth for the most part, but then you go to one event and it's kind of triggering for you, like that's normal too. Like I definitely have been in situations even now where I can feel a little bit triggered, and I usually just try to like step away and take a moment, and then the moment usually passes pretty quickly. I hope this video helped you. I know you guys have been asking for more sobriety content. I'm doing a lot of brainstorming, trying to figure out what I can touch on when it comes to sobriety. I have a lot of ideas written down right now, so I definitely have more videos coming. Again, if you have not subscribed yet, I would really love to have you. Please subscribe. It really helps me. It helps my channel. I really want to see this channel continue to grow. If you have any other tips when it comes to socializing sober, please comment down below. I would love to hear what has helped you guys. If you have anything to say, leave a comment down below, even if it's just a little heart. Like, show me some love in the comments. I love reading your guys' comments. They make me so happy. They seriously make my day, and they motivate me to keep putting out this type of content. So comment down below, subscribe if you haven't already. If you have, thank you so much. I appreciate you more than you know. Also give this video a like, give it a thumbs up. That also really helps push out my videos into the YouTube universe so that more people will see them and we can continue to grow. So thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate you more than you know, and I'll see you in the next video.